Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great weekend. This is our weekly watch list video highlighting a few stocks we are watching, as well as a key market breakdown. Enjoy. Alright guys, so getting things started, breaking down Ford/ES here on the weekly chart. Clearly, this is in a strong uptrend. And what's really interesting to note here is what we did right here is we ticked almost, it was like one tick below this prior weekly bar, which at the beginning of the week looked like a bearish engulfing and likely to trap a lot of those shorts, or longs, excuse me, and stop them out right below this prior bar here. We cracked this, it looks like a bearish engulfing, a lot of shorts hopping in. And then what ends up happening? We end up closing pretty much a doji bar, which signals indecision. So really we need much more data to confirm what we are likely to do going forward. The similar scenario that I see is back from this week on 212. You can see we ticked below this prior one by one tick. We put an inside bar, a similar doji bar. Yes, this body of the bar is bigger than this one, but similar principles. So watching this, any strength over, and actually let me remove this and go into my other drawings that has the level on it. Let's go here and let's go here. So let's go into the daily, and obviously a very weak bar. Anytime you get this wick up and then you gap and close lower, weakness. However, I'm eyeing strength if we get back over 51.45.44, targeting 51.90 and then 51.93. If we fail below 51.30, this does have room to sell down into that 5100 area, and then below that into that 50.61 area, being a bigger target on any weakness. So watching this, if we just come in and we don't even trade below this low right here at 51.21 on Monday, and we're just trading within this range and trending, we do again have that potential up into 51.90. So something for you guys to keep on watch. If we are below 51.30, targeting 50.98, you can essentially say 5100 and then 50.60 below. Let's touch on the VIX really quick as well. And all right, there we go. So this 1447 area, still the line in the sand that I mentioned last week. You can see we're just trading right around this area. No clear direction. We're just consolidating around this. So if this trends, eyeing 1731 and 1818 overhead. If we get weakness on this, then eyeing this downside 1294 and then 1138. Let's go into a few plays that we are watching this week. Coinbase being the first one. This one is Bitcoin is extremely strong, and this is really just a runaway trend mode. This continues all these dips getting bought up, and when you see something that slams down like this and puts in an inside bar that completely closes near this prior bar's high, especially on a bar that this is this week, this candle right here signals so much strength. Because if this was weak, this should have rolled over and at least tested this consolidation area on the daily chart down here. And instead, all of a sudden, it pushes lower, but then boom, it stuffs higher and closes right at the high. Anything over 253.60, taking this, likely targeting that 270 move, just being liquidity on this daily chart. It is the high from the daily. Now, it's not the high from the weekly chart. That would be that 429.54 area, but if we do really trend and we get strong follow through on this, it would not be crazy to see this test this prior weekly pivot right around 368.48. So keeping this one on watch, it does have a lot of potential. Again, like I mentioned, 253.60 target into that 270 region overhead. Square. What's interesting about this one is when the market was selling off on Friday, this was not selling off, and actually this was very, very strong. And what's also really interesting is we get this breakdown right here. What do you think happened right here? Everyone that you know is like, oh, it's going to fill the gap. It's going to fill this gap, this post-earnings gap from 67 all the way up here into like 79. It breaks below this prior pivot. We're likely to see this move lower. What happens? We wick below a bear trap, and now we're pushing this higher. So I'm eyeing this long over 81.65 for a target of 83.29. Now, not only do we have a bear trap on the daily, but what does the weekly look like? This is a prime inside bar, and this failed that breakdown and closed right near the highs. In my opinion, we are likely to see at least 83, and above that, targeting this area right around that 88 to 89, 90 region on something that is very, very strong. And this one was on our watch list. It is a very, very strong move from last week, and I do think this has potential at least into 83 and then up into this 89 to 90 region overhead this coming week. Google, what I'm seeing here is we're attempting to put in a weekly higher low. So you can see it from this spike down here. We have this low, we have this low, and now we're attempting to put in this doji on a weekly higher low. And it was a name that's been really, really oversold, but a name amongst the mega caps that actually held up decent. Personally, my ideal setup would be over 136.79 and then into that 138.44 area. However, if we do break below this bar's low on Monday, which is sitting right around 134, this setup is invalidated, and that's just going to put in a daily lower high here, and we're likely to test down into this pivot. So I like these daily bars higher, low here, didn't break the prior bar low, didn't break the prior bar low. If we break the prior bar low here, we could see a slam down like this bar right here into this prior pivot. So watching this to hold up, again, over 136.79 is ideal for me, and really over 138.44, then targeting 142.14. And if we do get that to trade, what's nice about 138.44 breaking is it's the first daily bar to break the prior bar high since we sold off at those all-time highs at the beginning of February. So you see we failed to break prior bar high, failed. This would be a change of character, and I do think we can rally up into that 142.14 area overhead. In a short play, NVDA is so extended, and this is a classic reversal pattern where you get a gap up, a huge spike lower, a huge slam lower, close at or near the lows. Sub 871.60, eyeing the short into 850. Below that, it has room into sub 800. A big, basically this is a climatic move that we get this gap up, and this gap up is getting heavily sold into. Not just a small inside bar like this. This gap up is getting heavily sold into. The biggest bar we've put in a long time, and it's a lot of times characteristic of climatic tops, especially in the semiconductor sector. So again, watching the short sub 871.60, targeting that 850, 847 region, and then sub 800 below. Hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you could smash that like button and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Hope you guys all have a great weekend and enjoyed the video.